So you blended military and rock star real estate professionals into a sales book?
I know.
What the heck? Like, here with a longtime friend, a former sales manager of mine, and an extraordinary individual, Mr. Bill Hart. Bill, welcome, man.
Buddy, so good to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much. So Bill recently came out with this magical book. I got interviewed by it, but I think what's really impressive is you took the time to interview 10 different Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, Top Gun people, like the absolute pinnacle of success in the military. And then somehow you took that with arguably the longest standing interview podcast of top agents, 20 straight years of interviewing rock star agents selling an average of 175 homes a year. For Howard Britton had that forever, God bless him, right? You now own that space. So you blended military and rock star real estate professionals into a sales book?
I know.
What the heck? Like, help us
Weird,
understand.
right?
Like, what is it? Like, what is it?
Yeah. So I have to back up a little bit and just say that I'm one of the 99% like you that never served our country in uniform.
Yes.
Right? So there's the 1% that does. And I've always been really impressed by them. And the book Lone Survivor, later made into a movie,
of course.
right? That was like,
Marcus.
Oh my goodness, I cannot believe what these guys go through. And you and I both coach people that make a heck of a lot of money, but they're having trouble getting up at 7 a.m. Right? And so it just connected with me, Tom, that there were disciplines there in that military environment that I knew nothing about, and I needed to learn more about it. When you first try and connect with Army Rangers and Navy SEALs, they're like, and who are you exactly? They don't want to talk to you, right? So, but once you get the first one,
my friends here know, because I had David Goggins, who has achieved all of that status and is coming in to do a show in a couple weeks. Like, they're weird people, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, they are exceptional human beings that have experienced more pain and suffering than anybody else on the planet.
100%.
And it's almost like they eat it for breakfast. And we have agents that complain about making phone calls.
Exactly. That's what struck me. And Goggins in particular, can't wait to see that interview, by the way. His new book is just out. I just pre-ordered it this morning. Can't hurt me. It's like if outliers had outliers, that's who these guys are. And I say guys because right now they're all men. They're all men. We have 2 women that have gone through Rangers school. They have passed, but they haven't deployed yet. So right now, That's awesome. But right now it's just guys. So when I say guys, that's where that's coming from. But yeah, man, that just struck me as, gosh, there's got to be some lessons there. And sure enough, once you start digging in, there's some very applicable lessons for anybody in sales.
So I get the origin of the book. Because you and I have this long-standing relationship, this context of you as a sales and marketing guy, coaching so many people in the mortgage space, interviewing all these top agents, your arc of perspective is pretty tremendous. Tell us about, I know there's 7 main disciplines in the book. Give us some insight on, the first discipline. What is it, and how does it relate to, maybe the gal who's watching right now in Oklahoma who's, she's raised her husband, maybe 2, she's raised her kids, she's a rock star real estate professional, she jugged on a million balls, you know what I mean? The quintessential Tom Ferry rock star client. Give us the first point, and how does it relate to her?
For sure. So it's really, chapter number 1 on the disciplines is training. It's what you do, right? I was just listening to a couple of your YouTube videos on listing strategies coming up. And so for me, when I look at the military, it all comes down to how they're trained, right? They call them standard operating procedures, SOPs. They're very specific. Those guys in particular, it's shoot, move, and communicate. Right? You'll hear that from Goggins. It's shoot, move, and communicate. That's what they...
Shoot, move, and communicate. Role play, make your phone calls, book appointments.
Hello.
Right?
Hello.
Sounds good to me.
You see how it starts?
Yeah.
And so I began to look for, so they're not just showing up with badass gear saying, well, I don't know, let's see what happens, they show in the movies. It's they are clearly trained. The classic example of this is Bin Laden. Right? We built a full-size replica of where Bin Laden was in Pakistan on the East Coast and one on the West Coast. So both SEAL teams went in there and they rehearsed and practiced, and they knew where all the entrances were. They knew everything that needed to happen. And they had 4 different plans, not just plan A. Plan A, B, C, and D. Plan A went bad. If you remember, one of the helicopters caught the tail rotor. They went to plan B. So training in the military is critical. training in our world is essential.
Well, and here's what I see. I mean, having run multiple training, like, scripts and dialogues classes for my entire life, stuff that we were doing when you were the sales manager. I'm going to practice the script because I don't know what to say and I'm not confident. I think the connection for so many people is you can look to the military, you can look to professional athletes as this role model for training. The challenge is the vast majority of agents, not my clients, but the vast majority of agents just don't seem to make the connection. That it's not practice once and become great.
Right.
It's practice at the level you desire to perform.
Totally.
Right? So, the Navy SEALs practicing over and 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 over to fire one shot.
Right.
To run one mission.
Right.
So I love that. What's the second discipline?
So from training, we move into discipline, ironically.
Yes.
It is that word.
Yeah.
And of course, you can't think these days of discipline without thinking of Jocko.
Yep.
Discipline equals freedom.
Big shout out to Jocko.
Right?
Yep.
Jocko with a neck the size of my thigh.
Yes.
So Jocko says discipline equals freedom. And when you first hear that, I think it catches us like, I'm not sure I get that. I want my freedom and therefore I'm pushing away discipline.
Yes.
He would argue, well, no. If, for example, if you're disciplined in your finances, you have the freedom to buy Nike stock when it's down a little bit.
Yep.
Good investment right now.
What you want, when you want.
Right? For sure. Or if you're disciplined in your fitness, you can go to Kauai and rent a kayak and your ass fits in it.
Yeah.
Right? Because you were disciplined.
Yep.
And you're not sitting on the beach in a 4X t-shirt saying, man, I really wish I could do something, but I'm not very disciplined in fitness.
Yeah.
So discipline I see over and over and over, and it's what you live, and I know it's what you teach.
Yep.
One of the things that I talk about in the discipline chapter is what I call the by noon effect. And you know this to be true. More people, more high producers that I know get more done by noon than the average person does all day, right? So they wake up early, they work out, they get centered, they read something motivational, inspirational, right? They have a routine, they know what fuels their body so that they move into the day with energy. It's a very different engagement with the day than, I joke with people, they wake up, they grab a butt cheek in each hand and they just kind of hold on as the day unfolds. Like, what's that?
So think about it. You've interviewed for 20 straight years, one rock star agent every single month, 240 interviews of these exceptional individuals. Did they all have morning routines, or do you think some of them are winging it?
Well, I mean, I don't want to be flippant with you. I think everybody has a morning routine. I just think sometimes they're not good, right? It's like
some have better, Some listen to Howard Stern in the morning and think that that's going to fire them up for the day. Hey, let's watch CNN. All right, we're motivated.
And then biscuits and gravy, and then a brief nap before you go to work, and it's a routine, right? But I don't know. I don't think they all have great, solid morning routines, if I'm honest. I think some people struggle with that at any given time. But so anybody that's performing at a high level has had a moment where they were nailing it. And as a coach, it's what I've experienced for 15 years. If people are honest with you when you finally get the trust right in the coaching relationship, it's like, coach, I'm not nailing that right now. I've done it. And that's when you whip out the whatever you do, the high D to, I need you to text me, write a check to your least favorite charity. If you don't do it, something, right?
I love it.
We know the drill, but discipline changes things. And here, Tom, here's the thing I learned. I don't know how it was for you. I know your dad, so I have a rough idea of what it might have been for you growing up. I didn't grow up with discipline. I didn't figure it out in athletics or music or sports or the military. I didn't. I had to learn it out, figure it out at 30. That's tough.
Well, that's more the normal human experience, right? I mean, and just for the record, growing up with Mike Ferry was not what you would think. Pua Ferry, my stepmom,
that I could see,
was the most disciplined person on the planet.
That I could see.
And when I think about my discipline today and who I honor, it's my stepmom.
Right on.
Really,
I was going to ask you about Pua. That's awesome.
She taught me
For sure.
she's Russian Polynesian, which means like a ukulele, and then she punches you in the face. So she, her way
I'm
of being.
still processing.
You have to think about that. But that was it. Like that was her greatest gift. Talk to me about the third principle, but I want to. A quote that stood out for me is, "Your fear must become your friend." Like, I know the third principle is about fear, which everyone in sales experiences. The 3 o'clock in the morning, oh my God, my deal's going to fall apart, or the fear and anxiety to make a phone call, to reach out to that customer. There's a million fears that they experience.
For sure.
But like, your fear must become your friend. Like, talk to us about that principle.
So it's just, these are not things that I've learned necessarily firsthand, Tom. It's things that I've learned through the interviews and just being around the game for a long time, right? So this is not me showing up saying, I got all this brilliance.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't. I just pay attention and I listen and I aggregate.
This is what Tony Robbins does. I'm going to synthesize all these extraordinary
Brian
people.
Tracy, the ultimate synthesizer, right?
Exactly.
So that's all I'm doing is I'm just synthesizing this stuff. But here's what I've seen over and over and over. The things that typically scare people in our industry, you just called out, like middle of the night, bink, it's the beginning of the month. Yeah. Oh no, I got to start all over again, particularly in real estate. The big one though is called reluctance, for sure. So they get, and I tell the story in here about a busy kit, right? So before I came to work for your dad, I was selling franchises for Century 21 because gold jackets were so attractive in the 80s. Yeah. And Remax didn't exist.
We've been doing this for a while.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I had brown hair and a mullet.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was selling franchises.
Hair.
I did have a lot of hair. It was high. Still has that tendency. Anyway, but one day I had been at this job for about 3 weeks, and my boss walked in, and I had do you remember the old Hartman briefcases?
Of course, absolutely.
Right? Beautiful leather, the nice locks and everything. So that was on my desk, and I had all this paperwork, and he comes in and he says, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm getting ready to get busy to get my ducks in a row. I'm getting ready to get started." And he says, "Follow me." And he takes all my papers, throws them in the briefcase, closes it, like doesn't seal it. It's all sticking out like a bad ham sandwich, right? And he takes it and he throws it out the front door. Literally throws my $500 briefcase out in front. And he says, "The business is out there, not in here."
Oh yeah.
He said, "You've had a busy kit." Busy kit. So I call it out in the book that's what people tend to do, right? They get busy with whatever, marketing, this, that, organizing.
I got to move the paperwork from this side to this side. I got to, I better redo my CRM really fast.
Totally.
Just get on the damn phone.
Right. Right.
So in the book, was there anything that the military, these extraordinary individuals, was there anything they said that stood out for you? Because talk about a group of people that,
oh my goodness.
My conversations with David Goggins is like, if you're not comfortable going through the door and being the first guy and knowing you're going to get shot, you're already shot.
For sure.
Like it's over. Like that's what they do.
For sure.
And we're talking about just like calling your past clients.
Oh yeah.
Calling your leads that you paid for, right? We're not talking about like opening doors with people with gunfire.
Exactly.
So is there anything out of the military?
ED. Well, two stories that come to mind. One is a guy named Chad Fleming, Army Ranger. So picture this, he is 19 hours from coming home. He's on one last mission. He is hit by a grenade. It blows off part of his, I think, left leg. Then another grenade goes off in front of him and damages the other side of the good leg.
Wow.
And he grabs his belt, he puts on a tourniquet, and he's using his rifle like as a crutch, right? But then he's still returning fire. He comes home, goes through surgery after surgery after surgery, tons, 20 some odd surgeries.
Yeah.
Finally, he said, if you take off the leg, can I run? Yeah. Can I do this? Can I do that? Can I make love? The guy says, yeah. Like, you can still do all the stuff. He said, take the leg off. Redeploys 3 more times with one leg. Right?
That's incredible.
So the story that he tells is, in that moment, I could either be fearful and lay down and scream and probably die, or I could revert to my training and make fear my friend, right? Like, I have to channel that into action. My favorite word on this, I'll bet you know this word, it's eustress, E-U-S-T-R-E-S-S, right? It's the positive form of stress. So when normal people, like you guys that are watching, not Tom, get up in front of an audience, they feel butterflies. You hear people say that, right? I feel butterflies.
Nervous.
But and that's stress. But if I can get those butterflies flying in formation, like the Blue Angels, now, which is what you do, you've now channeled that energy.
That's hot.
Right?
Yeah.
You've channeled that energy. And so that's eustress. That's the positive form of stress.
I am so stealing that.
That
was really good. You're going to want to rewind that and listen to that again. That was good.
Eustress.
Yeah.
You might like it because you experience it every day. You just didn't have a name for it.
Picking up the phone, like the difference is when you do the training, when you have the discipline,
Totally.
when you know why you're doing it, suddenly the butterflies are aligned, and I have to make the phone call because I'm going to serve this customer and they need my help.
Absolutely.
Right? Versus help.
Right. And you're on the balls of your feet. Here's my conviction.
Yeah.
All of us in life are in 3 different stances. You're either on your heels, not good. You're flat-footed, caught flat-footed, not a good example. Or you're on the balls of your feet, right, in an athletic position.
Yeah.
I believe that when you're in eustress, you're on the balls of your feet. I've still got the energy. I'm still thinking about stuff, but I'm using it. Dude, it's the way you show up on video, at your events.
Yeah, it's how we show up for life. And
For
so
sure.
many people watching, they get that. Like, that was a perfect example.
Good.
Talk about, I'm going to jump, chapter 9, team.
Yeah.
Like, there's been this massive evolution, as you've seen on the mortgage side, right? And certainly all the people you've interviewed, all my agent friends, they've seen 5 years ago I came out and said total team domination, teams are going to be selling, it is the way, and it wasn't like this sort of fabricated hallucination of how it should be. It's the recognition of real estate is a complex transaction, requires a bunch of experts. One person trying to do it all takes 24 hours a day. And even with great technology, it's just too hard, right? So we needed to build this. But boy, when I talk to people in the military, like it's team,
Always.
and they have very specific lessons. And so what were some of the things you got maybe that the average agent watching this is maybe not hearing about teams from a military standpoint?
Yeah, so from the team perspective, Tom, from the military perspective on teams, think about SEALs. When you have Goggins in here, he will refer to himself as a team guy. That's how they refer to themselves internally. We're team guys. Right, so even after they get out, they still have that same mentality.
Okay, hold on, stop. Right? Versus, remember, I'm the rock star, I'm the listing agent, my photo everywhere, my signs, right? Like it's a radical
Rolls
difference.
Royce, cufflinks 30 years
Walter
ago.
Sanford!
Hello!
Walking on water.
Right?
We're dating ourselves right now. If you remember Walter Sanford, wonderful dude.
There was a day for that, and now it's a different day. And so what I learned from the military is, it is all about team, and they get so much more done. Contrary to the Rambo films and the things that we see, right? I'm just doing all this by myself. No, that's not what's happening. They move as a team. Think about Navy SEAL, Army Ranger movies or TV shows that you see. They come up behind each other, right? And they tap. They've trained that over and over to know he's got me, he's covering me. I know what to do next. I'm going to breach that door. Dude, that's what real estate is right now.
They train together, they're disciplined together.
100%.
It's a we thing. And so many of our clients, when you talk to them, we have these like legendary rock star teams.
No doubt.
We call them Navy SEAL teams, we call them Super Ninja teams, we call them mega success teams. And whether they're 3, 5, or 50, that operational excellence of we train together, we work together, we do this together.
Absolutely.
And you're the dominant listing agent and she's the dominant buyer's agent and you're the master at managing transactions and you do the lead flow. Like having those experts in place, like that's the game today.
It is. And there's a subtlety in that too, Tom, that you see in the teams that I'd be curious if you guys see it as you're viewing this. There's something that happens in those military teams where it's like a sports team, where they shuck and jive, they give each other a hard time. But when it's showtime, there's a camaraderie and a connection that is deep, man. And it transcends, this is my job description, this is what I do, what time is it, I go home. That's not how they roll, man. They show up and it's game on. They do what needs to be done. So I would tell people that if that's something you haven't nailed yet in your teams, think about how to begin to build that kind of culture, because that's what we see in the best teams.
I'm thinking every team leader needs to buy this book and maybe just carve out that. I mean, all the chapters are killer, right? I like, by the way, short books. Do you with me?
That's all I knew how to write.
I like. Well, no, I mean,
I'd be bored.
Yeah, but there's a lot of nuggets inside here. So short books, get to the point. This would be a good maybe November, December read as a team to just get everybody's head around it.
Totally.
And look, because it's honoring the military. So many of our clients, work in military towns, service military customers.
For sure.
I mean, DC, there's 150 bases in the U.S., right?
Didn't know that number. Love that you know that.
I got to introduce my guys at Go Millie, 3 West Point grads,
I know
right?
Go Millie.
I mean, they're incredible, helping military families move. Like there's a lot of heart in this.
For sure.
So, Bill Hart, strongly recommend this book. So this will be fun. This is going to be on YouTube. We're getting 1,000,001, 1,000,002 views every single month. If there was a question that you wanted to ask everybody, so you can read the comments later, what question would you want to ask all these rock star agents, just to get some data and to get some insights? Kind of putting you on the spot here in the middle of the interview.
Well, no, I'm good with that. If I can't perform on command at this point, something is wrong. Eustress, baby. But seriously, here's the question that here's the answer I would want to know. I would want to know, you guys, if there was one thing that was keeping you from where you are right now and where you want to be a year from now, what is that thing? That's a good question. Is it discipline? Is it your team? Is it a focus on a particular market like VA? I'd love to know, what is that thing that stands in your way, because the more that we can aggregate or codify, love that word, by the way, had to look it up. Yeah. You use it a lot. And that and banana.
Banana real estate.
Am I right?
Yes.
If I had
need a
more
jacket
time,
with bananas in it. Like, it's official.
You really do.
Yeah.
If I had more time, I was showing up with a bunch of bananas.
I would love that.
I was running late.
All right.
Sorry, man.
So the question again is, you want to know what one thing is holding you back from being where you want to be in a year?
That's it.
That's a great question. It's going to be really interesting to watch the comments. You got to make sure you check Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, and of course on the Tom Ferry blog.
No doubt.
So Bill, wrapping up, just kind of closing thoughts for our listeners. I mean, you guys know how I feel about this guy. This is a no-brainer. I got the signed copy. Any kind of closing tips, advice? You've interviewed all these amazing people. You just interviewed these incredible people for this book. You know, you're talking to a whole bunch of rock stars that all want to get better. It's the new year coming up. What advice?
For sure. So perspective is the one thing that comes to mind. So I wear this bracelet. It's a KIA bracelet for Killed in Action for a guy by the name of Mike Mansour. September 29th, 2006. This guy's a surfer from San Diego, becomes a Navy SEAL. He's 25. He's in a position of overwatch, watching what's happening with Marines that are kicking down doors to identify insurgents. Grenade is thrown up, bounces off his chest pack. He's got 3 of his buddies in front of him and 2 Iraqi soldiers that they're working with. In a split second, the survivors say you could see in his eyes, that's why I removed the glasses. It was like, I can get out of here. He had a staircase behind him. Instead, he yelled grenade and jumped on it and gave his life for his brothers. Here's what I've learned with these guys that I interview. They say, I appreciate it when you say thank you for your service. I do. Or if you buy us lunch at the Dallas airport, we appreciate that. But here's the best thing you can do, and I'm going to look to you guys now. Live your best life, right? If you're in real estate and you're showing up each and every day, be all in, right? Show up in a way that honors the men and women that have sacrificed everything so that they feel like what they've done, the ultimate sacrifice, has been worthwhile. If you're going to be in, be all in.
Be all in.
Yeah.
That was awesome, man. Thank you so much
So
for
my
coming
pleasure,
today.
brother.
Yeah. So guys, watch this, share this, send it to a vet, and you know what? At the end of the day, I can't beat that. Thanks. Hey, I'm Tom Ferry, and I want to say welcome to real estate. Now, there's a pretty good chance no one's told you there's an 87% failure rate every 5 years in this business, and there's only 2 factors. Agents don't have the tools and they don't take the right action. I'm going to invite you to click the link below and get access to the tools so you can win in this business.